Hey y'all, I just got finished watching season 3 of Anne with an E. I thought it was really good. I'm probably not going to do any spoilers for the first part of this thing, and then the second part, I'll probably do some spoilers. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I really like Anne with an E. The first two seasons I really liked. The third season, there was zero drop off in quality. It was just as good as the first two seasons. It was the same. I mean, it was literally just as good because um, yeah, the characters are super interesting. I mean, I feel such a positive energy from watching the show. Like, I feel I have the IMDb here because I'm really bad with names, but I feel Anne was I feel such a positive energy from Anne. Like, she's such a nice person, and she's really smart and interesting to listen to, and very poetic. She's very poetic in everything she says. She obviously reads a lot of books to get that poetic. And she's someone that I want to emulate, and I want to become more like Anne and have a more positive attitude and become more intelligent and more ambitious and just I would like to. I think Anne is someone that we can all strive to be, even though she's younger than probably a lot of. Uh, she's probably younger than a lot of people watching the show. I mean, yeah. So like, but I think we can all strive to be a little bit more like Anne because she's such a good person. She has this good vibes. Like she she has a positive impact on every person she meets. I think the she had a really positive impact on Gilbert. Like I don't know what Gilbert was like before Anne came into his life, but I think Gilbert has had a very he just has become more and more positive as the um, more and more warm and pleasant as the seasons go on, and he's had such a positive Anne had such a positive influence on Gilbert. Um, yeah, it's really great. And like I like the diversity. I like the diversity on the show. I'm from Florida, but I don't know how much diversity. I'm sure there's a lot of diversity in that part of Canada, but there is a lot of diversity on the show, and I really like that there's a lot of diversity and there's different characters from different backgrounds, and you learn a little bit about different people. And Yeah, so I thought it's a like you learn positive things from watching Anne with an E. It's like it's like it's a very positive thing. Um, yeah, so now on to the I guess I'll go into the spoilers section now. So yeah, I guess they're not gonna have a season 4. It was it's Netflix canceled Anne with an E after season 3, so this is the very end. The very end of season 3 is the very end of the show. I thought it ended in a really good way. I wish there was a season 4. I wish they did make a season 4 because they could have kept going with when Anne goes to college and her writing letters back and forth with Gilbert. I thought they could absolutely have a season 4. I really wish Netflix would renew it. And, they could still renew it. It's not too late. They could still do it. Maybe by the time you watch this, they would renew it, but I don't think they're going to. Usually, when Netflix cancels a show, they don't bring it back to life because a lot of times Netflix just lets shows go to 3 seasons and that's it. But I thought it ended really well with Anne and Gilbert happily together. No, they're in different colleges, so it's like a long distance relationship. But knowing Anne and Gilbert, I'm sure they could write letters. And if there's anybody who can make a long distance relationship work, it's Anne and Gilbert because they're so articulate and they're so good at writing letters, and they're both very poetic. Anne especially is very poetic, and you know that they're going to have a good relationship even though it's long distance. Now, do I think they're going to be together long term? Oh, I don't have any evidence that they're going to like marry each other. I just think they have a wonderful relationship. Maybe they would both find other people who who they like more, because they're both very young. Like they're what are they? They're 16, 17. They might be 17 when the show ends. I don't know, but they're around 16, 17. I know the season starts when they're 16, but it's kind of weird. Gilbert was dating that one woman who was like, I don't know, she seemed like she was like 25. Didn't she seem like she was 25 to you? Like, um, yeah, she seemed like she was closer to my age, but well, Gilbert's like 16, so I was like, why is Gilbert dating this like 25-year-old girl? I mean, she was beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but uh, Gilbert should be dating someone his own age, because he's like a teenager, so it's like um, yeah, I mean, even if the genders were reversed, I still think people should date people their own age. I actually think it's important that um, I think it's really important that people date someone their own age within like a 2 or 3 year range, 2 or 3 years older, 2 or 3 years younger. That's what I think. But I thought yeah, so I thought it's kind of weird that Gilbert was dating that girl. It was almost like he was dating her just so he could get into school in, was it Sorbonne? I forgot the name of the French city that he wanted to go to college, go to university. But yeah, it's almost like he dated her just for her money and just for her connections, so that he could make a difference in the world. I mean, I guess that makes sense. He wanted to be a medical researcher and he wanted to have a positive impact on the world, and so he was dating someone who could help him have a positive impact on the world. So that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. He wanted to have the most positive impact he could have. So, that's what he wanted to do. So that makes sense. But of course he ended up with Anne, because Anne is wonderful. Everyone knows Anne is wonderful. Yeah, of course they ended up together because they were perfect for each other. Now, they're not necessarily going to get married, but they might get married. They might get married, or, they might not. It depends. Yeah, so I thought it was really interesting how I'm really bad with names because I'm on the spectrum for autism, so I have to look this up. Anne's best friend Diana. Yeah, I thought it was interesting how she was trying to decide whether she wanted to go to finishing school and be a lady, whatever a lady means. Go to finishing school and be a wife and a mother, or she wanted to go to the university in her area to study whatever she wanted to study and go into whatever career she wanted to go into. I'm sure a lot of women, specifically in that time period, had to make that decision whether they wanted to. Well, women with money had the option to go to college or settle down with a family. But I'm getting my hair correct. But so a lot of women, upper class women in that time period, had the option to go to college or just settle down with a man. Now today people don't have that problem, because it's not as complicated to raise children today as it was 100 years ago. Because now, what have we had in the past 120 years? I think it's 120 years since the show takes place. We've had washing machines. We've had refrigerators. We've had televisions. We've had cars. We've had airplanes. All these things that make life easier. Can you imagine how different life was back then? As a big history buff, I love Anne with an E. I love the show because I get to see what was life like back then, from a historical perspective. Everyone walked everywhere. There were no cars. There were no subways. There were trains, but trains were like a long distance thing. It wasn't like a city type of train. But so I thought it was really interesting, the historical setting of the show, and see how life was so different back then. I would recommend this show to anybody because it's really a great show if you like history, or you like or you like warm-hearted characters. If you like poetry, you would like the show because it's very poetic. Um, just how Anne wrote Gilbert a note, and he didn't find it, and Gilbert wrote Anne a note, and she wasn't able to read that because she ripped it up. I laughed so hard when she ripped up that note. Like, I'm not reading this note, no. um, she was so angry at Gilbert. She's ripped up the note saying that he loved her, and that's funny. But I thought it was very poetic how she didn't know that he. I'm really bad with details, but I thought the ending was very poetic. How they didn't communicate to each other exactly what was going on, but yeah, I thought that was really good. That was a really good ending for the show. I thought it was really interesting. The Native American characters. I don't really remember their names, but they the girl, she was going to school in the school where all the school was like teaching them how to be Christian, and it's like, if you're gonna give kids a school, can you? I mean, nothing against Christianity or anything, but like, can you teach kids like normal stuff? Like, it'd be one thing to send a Native American kid to like a normal school where it's like, okay, it's just like any school you go to, but the specific school that they were sending them to, those kids to, it was just like they're only taught Christian values. Which, again, nothing wrong with Christian values. I'm just saying you can't just teach them. That's sick. That's sick to that's, despicable to do that, and to like brainwash them like that. Again, I'm a Christian, but you can't brainwash someone like that. They're not like a. I don't know. It's interesting to think about how Americans did that to. How the Europeans did that to all the Native Americans. They just pushed them around from reservation to reservation. They taught them. They forced Christianity down their throats. It's really terrible how the Europeans treated the Native Americans. It's really awful, and it makes me want to cry, to be honest, because it's really a terrible thing that they did to them, and I feel so bad. I feel so bad about what happened with that. I wish there was something we could do for Native Americans today to ease their pain or something. I don't know. I don't know. But it really, we almost can't undo what they did. But if we could think of something, I mean, that we could do now to like make it better, but you can't make it better because it's already, we already did a genocide for millions of Native Americans, so that's just really awful. Really awful. They shot a bunch of them, and really terrible stuff. Just awful. And then again, I'm really bad with names, so let me just pull this up. What was that one guy's name? Sorry. I do want to talk Sebastian Bash. I don't know if I should call him Sebastian or Bash. He was a really interesting character. Yeah. So spoilers. He started the season with he was married to the one woman, and they had a kid, and then she died, and then it's really sad. I cried a lot when she died. But I get really emotional when I think about shows like this. That's why I like this show, because it makes me feel really emotional. And Bash, yeah, he did a really good job being a father and being a husband, and he got he got what do you call it, the apples. He did a really good job bringing the apples back to life. I don't know where the apples were at the beginning of the show, but they were, Bash helped turn that farm into a vibrant apple farm, and he really helped Gilbert do that. So I feel bad that his wife died, and he had to get into a fight with his brother over some disagreements. That was sad, but maybe if there was a season 4, I could see Bash ending up with the teacher. Again, I don't know anybody's name, but the teacher person. I could see Bash ending up in a romantic relationship with the teacher. I'm really bad with names. Sorry. But I could really see Bash ending up with her. and like they were afraid that she was gonna. I think the teacher's my age. I think we're the same age. I don't want to say how old I am, but on YouTube. But I think we're this. If I were to guess, I would say I'm the same age as the teacher, and she's really pretty too. She's, she is a blonde. I'm not. I don't prefer blondes. I prefer brunettes. But I'm totally into blondes too. But yeah, she's super hot. The teacher is super hot. Yeah. Anyways, I could see Bash ending up with the teacher. I think they would be a good couple. I think that was implied that they had a good possible future together at the end of the show. I think they ended the show knowing that there might not be a season 4, so they didn't want to leave it on a cliffhanger. They wanted all the knots to be tied together. So that was good. I like that. Yeah. I really liked it. Thought Bash had it was kind of a really sad story for Bash's wife died, so that was sad. But yeah. So there's a lot of sad moments in this season. It's very emotional. Anything else? Is that all I wanted to say? Yeah, I think I said in my other review for the show. I relate most to the Matthew character because I think Matthew might be an asexual, and I don't see that many asexual characters on television. It might just be my imagination, but I think Matthew's an asexual. I mean, I think he's pretty comfortable being not in a romantic relationship. And what is he, like 65 years old? Or like 62 years old or something. He seems pretty comfortable with where he is in life, and he's a very good farmer. He's a very, very good father. I really like his character so much because he really sides with Anne a lot. Like Marilla, that was her name, right? Marilla. Yeah, she's kind of a hard, not hard, but she's kind of what do you call it? Marilla's kind of it's kind of a good cop, bad cop, whereas Marilla's kind of the bad cop and Matthew's kind of the good cop. Not every time, but it just sometimes Marilla's like, oh no, you can't go to the city to see who your real parents were, but Matthew's like, no, just go, just go for it, man, or just go for it, Matthew, yeah. So I thought it was interesting because there's not a lot of asexual characters on television, and Matthew seems pretty comfortable with his sexuality. Excuse me. he's like 65 years old, and he's pretty comfortable with who he is. Um, he's a really good farmer, and he doesn't have a lot to say. He's not super talkative. Like, he's a man of few words. He's not he he, he he's not a great communicator. So I identify a lot with him because I have a communication disability. Um, so yeah. So and then should I talk about Marilla last? She was the other main character of the show. And oh yeah, by the way, I thought that the Jerry and Diana relationship was really good. I really liked to see Jerry and Diana together. You know, the poor boy with the rich girl. I thought that was really interesting. But Jerry, uh, I thought they were a great couple, Jerry and Diana, great couple. But Jerry, he doesn't go to school, does he? So all he does is work on the farm. So he probably can't really keep up with Diana on an intellectual level. So I don't necessarily see them together long term because I think Diana is a little more of an intellectual. Not to say that Jerry's dumb. Jerry just doesn't go to school. Jerry has to work on the farm to survive. You know what I mean? That's the way people lived back then, was that people had to work on a farm to survive. It wasn't always the way that people just went to school. You know, people didn't always go to school. Um, People didn't always go to school. So I wish my lighting didn't go in and out like that, but I don't know why it does that. I'll get a better camera someday. But you know, not everyone went to school back then. A lot of people just worked on farms. So I feel bad about Jerry that he couldn't get the education. But and probably when Diana goes off to college, she'll probably find a more intelligent guy than Jerry. Not to say Jerry's dumb. He just doesn't go to school, so he probably can't keep up on an intellectual level. Like when he read Frankenstein, he's like, I mean, first of all, he's smart enough to read Frankenstein. That he's not. He's probably smarter than me. Cause I can't read books for crap. So Jerry's probably smarter than me. So I'm not saying that Jerry's dumb. I'm just saying that when Jerry reads Frankenstein, he's like, oh, the monster was so cool. He's like, oh, the monster. He's like, he did whatever. It's like, and then when Diana reads Frankenstein, she's like, there's like a critical analysis. Sounds like she's like writing a 20-page essay in a literature university class when she's talking about the characters on the Frankenstein novel, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and yeah, they're kind of on different intellectual wavelengths. So I kind of don't really see them ending up together, but I thought they had a great relationship, Jerry and Diana. I hope they both end up happy. Anyways, so the last one, Marilla. I haven't talked about Marilla yet. So yeah, Marilla. You know when the show started, when Anne with an E started 3 years ago or 4 years ago, whatever that was. Marilla was very old fashioned. She was very stern, serious, a little boring. And I think as soon as she adopted Anne, she became a lot more exciting, a lot more interesting, because um, because there was such a warm, vibrant person in her life, Anne, and she became so like Marilla became so much more um, just modern or just interesting, and it shows how much positivity someone could get when they adopt a child. Even if you're adopting someone who's like 15 and they're just going to grow up in a couple of years, and you're just adopting them right before they become an adult, just for a few years. I think that Marilla had a very positive experience from that. And I don't know. I'm starting to cry, so I'm gonna turn this off. But anyways, yeah, I thought she had a very positive uh, relationship with Anne, and so yeah, it almost makes me want to have kids, to be honest. Um, and then I realize I don't want to have kids. Thank you for watching and have a great day. And now a word from our sponsors. Are you looking for an easy way to make money online part-time, or are you looking for a long-term career in marketing? If you click the link in the description of this video and join ClickBank University, you'll be rewarded with awesome opportunities to make cash now. They said it couldn't be done. Scientists have just found the formula for Organify. Join the green health movement that's changing the world. Click the link in the description of this video to discover the secret to losing weight. It's never been this easy to lose weight until now. I love video games, just like a lot of people. What if I told you you could get paid to play video games? You can make $50,000 a year if you become a video game tester. Just click the link in the description of this video and you can start a lucrative career testing video games. I know what you're thinking. How are you supposed to be successful like me? Well, I've written a book. It's called From Zero to Hero, and you can purchase it in the link below this video. I started out just like you at one time, and now look at me. They put me on YouTube. Order it today. Change your life now. This channel is sponsored by viewers like you. I'd be extremely thankful if you support me making content just like this video here. Click the link in the description below to support me on Patreon. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.